So Brad Holmes had to answer for the defensive end spot. And I really do like the fact that there's a debate happening. And again, that's how I prefaced it when I opened the subject with him at the combine. I'm thinking that, Brad Holmes, I said to him, I said, based on how well you built this roster, there's not really a lot of needs. The need clearly is defensive end. And many people think you are one player away, one position solidified away from being a team that not only gets to the postseason, but can advance further. I just think Brad Holmes looks at it differently. And it's a disagreement. He believes that, we got veterans, we got Davenport on an affordable deal. We still can make moves. So why is this a position that's emphasized so much? Well, I think the Eagles showed you that 2, 3, 4 players rushing to the quarterback and playing at a high level, that Eagles defensive line was stacked from one end to the other. So people are like, okay, we're not asking for all 5 spots. We're asking for along your front, your 4-3, that opposite of Aiden could be a little bit more productive. And Brad Holmes still is like, we have one of the elite ones. So what's everybody clamoring for another one for? And I just look at it like more. That's my philosophy, more at every spot, but specifically at a spot where if you impact the quarterback and you have young defensive ends, well, one, I think he's not paying attention to what his own guys are saying. Recall on a great podcast, Amon-Ra St. Brown said, "Oh, if we get Myles Garrett or Mason or one of the best, Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, hey, if you get a great defensive end, you don't need corners." Wasn't that said publicly through the airwaves? So we listen. I listen. So it kind of lends to the idea that I think to calibrate it, I think Brad needs to emphasize it a little bit more, and the fans need to emphasize it just a little bit less. And then we meet in the middle. But I think the Lions need more along the front there, and it should always be that way. Unless you have 2 All-Pros, I think the attitude is get the most talent possible, whether it be Zadarius Smith or whoever. But I think you need more talent along the defensive front. Are you confused that Brad Holmes is just still scratching his head going, why are you guys pestering me? I'm trying to do the best I can within the parameters of giving everybody money and getting it. But I wonder if he's just trying to save face because he knows that you can't throw the talent that you do have under the bus. But I think there's a way that he could address it better by saying, hey, we're always looking for the best of the best. We're not done. He did say that. But I think that he should say, I understand why it's such a premium position. He should acknowledge that the Eagles had a great defensive line. But he should also, I think, hype up his own guys. He should say, look, he should acknowledge that I know that there's injury histories with our guys. But if we're lucky, Davenport's going to get us a lot of sacks. Al-Quadin Muhammad's going to grow in this defense. Our new guy is going to be great. So to take the I don't understand stance is a little bit weird.
Yeah, it's all kind of interesting to piece together. And I think that a big part of this argument is they are banking on when he says that they feel good about it, he is banking on Marcus Davenport and Al-Quadin Muhammad and Josh Paschal to almost have like career years. And Davenport's been good when healthy, but he hasn't played a full season to this point in his career. And Muhammad's kind of bounced around a little bit. I would say that Muhammad was one of, if not the best offseason or midseason addition they made last year due to all the injuries. But I do think that when everybody's healthy, like they do have a decent group here. But like we're not living in Candyland. Like injuries happen, and they had a bunch of them last year. And do I think they'll have a similar amount? Probably not. But there's going to be guys that get bumps and bruises and have to miss games. And because of that, I agree with you. I do think the Lions need just a little bit more. I am not saying they need to go out and trade for Trey Hendrickson. Remember, I wanted them to trade for Myles Garrett. But when I take a step back and kind of think about it, they're going to put themselves in a very tough position from a salary cap perspective if they go get one of these guys. Now, can we find a middle ground? Like a guy like a Malcolm Kuntz, who is a free agent, who wouldn't have broken the bank, but would have given you a really, really solid option opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Like that, to me, is the type of move they should be trying to make. And is that Zadarius Smith? Maybe. I don't know. But you got to find another guy who can come in and help you out. And also kind of mentor the young Ahmad Hassanin. Like, I do think that they could benefit from getting just one more piece. And at the very least, that would elevate the competition level in training camp. And I think that would be beneficial for everybody. So I agree with you. I do think they need a little bit more.